The gift giving season is almost upon us. Guys, my name is Rick and this is the HDVIBE channel. This 2021 Road Glide Special has a lot of upgrades, probably well over 40. And what I thought I'd do today is go through many of those, if not all. And for those of you looking for gift ideas for your motorcycle enthusiasts, specifically Harley Davidson Touring riders, this might be a great video to give you some ideas for that special person who has that Harley Davidson, or maybe for you, the Harley Davidson owner, to give to some of your loved ones so that you get the gift that you really want. And we'll get into it right after this. So that's right, guys. If you've been around this channel, you know I do a lot of upgrades on my 3 Harley Davidson Touring motorcycles, but I've really done the most on this 2021 Road Glide Special. So what I'd like to do is spend just a little bit of time with you today and go through a lot of the upgrades that I've done on this motorcycle. And many of these, the installation process, I've done complete videos on those so that you can buy that part or have your loved one buy that part for you. And then you can go back to my video and install this yourself, whatever that product may be, and save yourself some shop labor time at about $150 an hour now. So all of this on this channel is free. The other thing I will do is if there's any discount links to any products that I have featured on this channel, I will also list that down in the description so you guys can go and save yourself some money. Like for instance, this Kemimoto heated vest. I'll have a link to that down below. It's a little bit cold in my garage today. In St. Louis here, it's been in the 20s overnight. So this is keeping me warm. I actually have it on a low heating setting. So let's get into these upgrades. So guys, before we get into the depths of all of these upgrades, I do want you to hold on to the very end because I've got something that I just got in the mail that I ordered that I'm super excited about that I want to tell you about at the very end of this video. So hang on to the end. This is pretty exciting. So the first set of upgrades we'll talk about is lighting. And if you've been around the channel, you know I only run custom dynamics lights on all of my motorcycles. So specifically on the Road Glide, up here in the headlight, we have the Shark Demon 2. I did a full install video on that. This thing is super, super bright. And something, if you have a Road Glide, I would definitely recommend it. They also have the Shark Demons now for your Batwing fairing bikes. And I believe they also just changed the cover on that so it's more of a smooth instead of seeing this outline of these lights in that sort of honeycomb pattern. They've also updated this Shark Demon 2 even to put one yellow and one white, so you do have a bit of a driving light. But the other thing I did put on this bike, and again, full video on that, and I'll have links to the playlists on some of these down in the description so you can go check them out. I also put the Shark Demon turn signals on here. And these things are super bright. They almost act as fog lights, but then they flash amber. And it's a really high intensity yellowish amber color that I have on that. In addition to that, I have some running lights that are also turn signals. So I have them up here, these windshield trim lights up here. Those are sequential. They flash in amber, they run daylight running light. And down here I have the vent lights. Again, these are solid day white running lights, and then when you turn on the flash, they flash in amber. Then moving a little bit farther down here on the crash bar, I have a set of custom dynamics fog lights, and again, full installation video on that to save yourself some money on having someone else do that for you. These right now, I have the clear lenses on those. Those are super bright, and right now they only have the halos on. And I have a switch under my mid-frame deflector. I turn that on and that is super bright. So that's the lighting up in front. So now we'll move to the back of the bike and check out the lighting back there. Again, all custom dynamics. All right, guys, so in the rear here, a little different perspective. I do have, again, custom dynamics lighting in the rear. So I have a CVO style fender, which we'll talk about that here in just a little bit as to where I got that. But these are custom dynamic CVO rear lighting here. Again, those are run and turn, all in red, and they do work with the custom dynamics magic strobe, which I have on this bike as well, which makes those brake lights strobe and pulse so that you'll be able to see from the back. Again, another upgrade that I've done on this bike. Then I have the low profile sequential bag lights, and I'll show you what that all looks like when that is in four-way flash. But again, those run in red, and then they sequential in amber, as well as amber when you put on the four-way. So that's kind of what the back of the bike looks like. And you can see I don't have the CVO style license plate bracket on here any longer. That is the Custom Dynamics curved license plate bracket with a light, LED lighting up here. And I did do a full install video on that as well, as along with, that went along with the installation of that CVO style fender. A really great look. Curves that license plate, gives it a really good look. So now let's move on to the side of the bike and talk about some of the lighting on there. So on the side of the bike, I've got these turn signals down on the forks. Those work in concert with your turn signals that I have up here. And I do have a full install video on that as well. Those are really nice. I really, really like those. Lightens up the bike from the side. A great addition to any motorcycle, especially in the Harley Davidson Touring lineup. So now let's move back to the saddlebags. You can see I don't have any lighting in here currently. So if you've been around the channel, you know I've recently changed out these bags to the short style bags. I need to change this out, and then when I change this out to a color match, I'll put some Custom Dynamics latch lights in here, which those are in a smoke lens, and then they will be run, brake, and turn, and those will run in red, and then they'll turn in amber, and they also will work with the magic strobe. So let me light this bike up and show you what it looks like when I'm running the four-ways. Okay, so this is what the bike looks like when all the flashers are on in four-way mode. You can see the vent lights, the windshield trim lights, the turn signals are all flashing. You go down here to the forks, those fork lights are flashing, and then we'll move back here to the back. And you can see all of them are flashing. It's kind of hard to see in the camera that if these lights are flashing, but those are flashing as well. So, and then the low profile bags are flashing in yellow. Maybe kind of hard to pick up here on the camera, but really lights the bike up. I feel very comfortable and confident that I'm seeing when I'm going down the road. With the way this bike is lit up, the last thing I need to do is put my latch lights in there, and then this bike will be completely visible from all sides. So that is a good overview of all the lighting that I put on that. Again, I have full install videos and all of that. You can either go to the Custom Dynamics playlist, or you can go to the Road Glide playlist, and I will have a link to the install playlist down in the description so you can see all of the Custom Dynamics lighting that I put on all three of these bikes. So from lighting, let's move on to some body part upgrades that I've done on this, and most of those have been through Hogworkz. So let's check out some of those upgrades. Something that I don't have on the bike is this Chop Tour Pack that I've had been running on the bike for a couple of years now. This is by Hogworkz. It's the Chop Tour Pack. Works great. It's quick detach off of the docking hardware. And I also have the Hogworkz liner in there, which looks really, really great. So that's one of the Hogworkz items that I currently don't have on the bike, but I do run it from time to time when I want a little bit more storage room. The first Hogworkz item beyond the Tour Pack, which is right over there, I'm going to talk about this vent cover. So if you had a special or even a regular Road Glide, this was kind of a dull black that didn't really match the inner fairing, which on the specials are the vivid black. So this is color match from Hogworkz. Those are available currently still and is just a nice addition. This really should be the way they came from the factory. Move to the side of the bike, and another Hogworkz product that I put on this bike as well as the Street Glide ST are these mid-frame deflectors. These are vivid black. I like the way the vivid black carries in there. And again, I have done videos on this, so you can go check it out. But it's a pretty easy install, and these things are not awfully expensive in vivid black. I think they're well under $100. Adds a nice touch and also keeps some of that heat off of your leg when you're going down the road. Down here, this is one I have not featured on the channel before, but this was chrome. And again, this is a Hogworkz part. Easy bolt on, and just this skirt here, this fairing skirt is in vivid black, which carries nicely with some of the vivid black accents that are on the bike instead of just having that plastic chrome look here. That's from Hogworkz, not very expensive and a really easy install. The last Hogworkz product that we'll talk about that's on the bike is this CVO style rear fender. We talked a little bit about those Custom Dynamics lights. This is Hogworkz, but the Custom Dynamics CVO style lights fit in there. Now I do have something exciting again, probably coming in the next, I would say 6 to 8 weeks. As you can see, I put the short bags on here now, but now I've got this sort of mullet kind of coming down here. Well, Hogworkz has come up with a new product that they recently released that will allow me to get rid of this entire fascia so that this fender will actually line up with these short bags, but I can still have these CVO style lights, and it's going to be somewhat similar to the 2024. So another great option, and that video will be coming out probably in the next 6 to 8 weeks, and I think it's going to be a great upgrade, and I'm really looking forward to getting rid of this mullet that's down here on the back. This is metal. It's not plastic like some of the other brands. Color matched, billiard red, you can see. It goes very well with the rest of the bike. So a Hogworkz product that I forgot to discuss, and I put a video out on it recently, is this mid-length fender that I put on the front here. This is much slimmer than your stock fender that comes on these bikes. This is color matched in billiard red. I think it gives it a great look. I will have a link to that video, or just go to the playlist and you can check that out. From Hogworkz, a great replacement for that big bulky stock fender. This is all steel, so it is heavy, but I think it gives a nice look at that bike, but still gives you enough coverage back down here so you're not getting things splashed up on to that air cooler for your oil. So we're gonna move back up to the front of the bike, and specifically this windscreen. This is not the stock windscreen. I changed that out pretty quickly after I purchased this bike, but this is a Memphis shade spoiler. The one I happen to have on here right now is a 6.5 inch, which I put that one on for my longer trips, and I also have a 5.5 inch spoiler windshield for a Road Glide. That was just a little bit shorter. I've just kind of left that one on because of my last trip. I just want a little bit more wind protection because I was going to be on the bike for many, many hours out on the highway. But it has this little lip here, and that kind of pushes the air up over your head, over my helmet, makes for a really comfortable ride, and keeps that wind turbulence from giving you the bobblehead. Great product from Memphis Shades. Along with the windshield, I would sort of consider this set of upgrades kind of your comfort upgrade. So the next one I'm going to talk about is the seat. So this is a Saddlemen seat. If you've been around the channel, I only run Saddlemen seats. In my opinion, they work the best for me. Some people don't like them. Some people love them. I'm in the love camp, and I really like this. So this is a step up. This one was custom made. I have done a number of videos on Saddlemen seats, so you can go back. I've compared to stock seats. I've done videos comparing the heights on 6 different saddle seats that I have run, that I have for my bike. So you can go back and check out that video, or go to the Saddlemen playlist and you can see all of those seats and learn more about these. But again, this was a custom one I had made. It's the tuck and roll style. It has gripper material through here, has carbon fiber through here, silver stitch through the seat. And then up here, it has the custom HDVIBE logo up on the seat that they did for me. This is a super comfortable seat and certainly far exceeds the stock seat. Saddlemen may not be for you, but certainly upgrading your seat will increase your comfort and keep you in that saddle longer on those long road trips. Move down here, another comfort item that I've added actually onto 2 of the 3 bikes. The CVO actually came with it, but is heated grips. These are game changers. Again, these are from Harley Davidson. This is the Kahuna collection. I've also put the Empire collection on the Street Glide. So again, game changer. I believe it has heat settings from 1 to 6. At max, I can typically put this on a 3 and my hands are burning even with gloves on. So this is a great addition. I think these are around $370-ish, maybe $390. But again, I have a full install video. If you have your dealership install these for you, they're gonna charge you 3 hours labor at $150. So that's $450. But if you go and watch the free HDVIBE video on how to install these yourself, either on a fixed fairing like the Road Glide, and I also have a complete video on the Batwing for the Street Glide. So you can go check that out and save yourself $450 by just watching and hopefully subscribing to the HDVIBE channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button right down here. I'd really appreciate it. And don't forget to hit that bell icon and select all so you do get notified every time I do put out new content. So another comfort item we'll move on to is the suspension. So I can't really show you that, but I have Legend suspension in the back, Legend suspension that I put up in the front. I did a full video describing as to what happened when I just put the rear Legend suspension on, and then when I got the front Legend suspension put on this bike. Awesome, awesome product. The ride is night and day difference between the stock Harley Davidson suspension and this Legend suspension. I did put 13-inch Revos on the back. They're not the Revo A's. I saved some money. I can't adjust the rebound, but I can adjust the sag, and these are super comfortable. I typically ride one up, so I don't have to really make any changes. So those work great. And then when I put the front on, oh my gosh, this bike rides like it's on rails, and it's an incredible ride. It's not a Cadillac ride, but man, this thing holds the curves, and when I'm going down the road, it is just super straight, and it just feels super tight, and you don't get the dive when you come to a stop. That front end is planted and doesn't dive as much as that stock suspension. Now we're gonna move up here on the instrument cluster. So I upgraded these two gauges, this gauge and this gauge, to CVO style. So again, I did a full video on that, and the primary reason I did that was because the old gauges, I couldn't really read them. But when I went to this style, and I really got accustomed to them on the CVO Street Glide, these are almost identical except for they don't say CVO on them. The caveat here is don't try to go and buy somebody's old CVO gauges and put them on your bike, because they won't work. You'll get an error message. If you buy them new, again, they will work. Plug and play. After about 30 miles, this is married to your ECM on your bike, and your mileage will pop up correctly immediately, and there's nothing that the dealership needs to do. And I have a full install video on that as well. Again, you can save yourselves hundreds, if not $300–400 in labor by doing it yourself, again, watching these HDVIBE videos. You could do this on your Street Glide as well. These same gauges will work for that also. Probably a little different install process, but not too much different from this. Tech item that I put on here is this. This is a wireless adapter to have Android Auto pop up on my Boom GTS 6.5 screen here. I do have a video on this. This is the A2 Air Pro for your Android, and that will wirelessly allow you to use Android Auto on your Boom GTS 6.5 system. I will have links to this for your Android with a discount code, and also the U2 Air Pro for your iPhone, and a Play 2 Video Pro, which will allow you to get video up on this screen. You can play Netflix when you're not riding, and also you can also then use that on your 2024 Skyline OS to get Android Auto on this screen, which you can't do out of the box from Harley Davidson. I will have specific links to which one of these adapters will work for Android Auto or Apple CarPlay or the Play 2 Video Pro, which gives you both of that functionality as well as video capability on these screens. So the next couple of upgrades are probably more looks, but this is actually will protect your bike. And so I changed out, you can see the crash bars to this sort of straight bar style, similar to the Harley Davidson flat out bar. And again, I did a full video on that. The one thing I will caveat, which I used to have an HR3Bagger lower spoiler that I had on here, I actually had to take that off to install this, but the company is actually going to send me one that comes out and curves out a little bit more here, so I can then go ahead and put that lower fairing back on here. But then we'll come back here to the back, and I've also got these back here on the back, protecting the saddlebag guards. Again, I think it's a good look, good aggressive look, similar to the Harley Davidson style. And my bike is obviously a 2021. This fits just fine. It works perfectly under my Saddlemen seat. And from a fitment perspective, I also noted in the first video that I did have a problem, and they actually had a manufacturing problem. I contacted them, they fixed it. One of the sides was off a little bit on their measurements, so they went back and they fixed it, and now everything is good. The second one they sent out fit perfect, so that was great from that perspective. So the next thing I will show you is, again, Those are not the stock saddlebags that I have on there. Those are from HR3Bagger. But however, I will say this paint scheme came directly from HR3Bagger, which mimics kind of the paint scheme that goes along the bike here, this black and billiard red kind of coming through there. So I'm going for, again, more of that performance bagger, short bag look. I like it. It shows off the chrome of that exhaust system, and we'll talk about the exhaust system here in just a minute. But like I said, I want to get rid of this mullet back here, and Hogworkz is going to have that coming out, and I'll feature that product in an upcoming video to shorten that rear fender up to make it look more aesthetic with this short bag. Okay, we're getting close to the end, I promise, but there's still a few more upgrades. Believe it or not, I've lost count, but I think there's about over 40 upgrades or changes that I've done to this bike, which may seem a bit excessive, but I think if you start adding up each of these individual lights and some of the other things, you can get to 40 pretty quickly. So the other thing that I didn't mention when we were up here by the handlebars, these are upgraded mirrors. I really like these mirrors. These are from Harley Davidson. They're the low profile custom mirrors by Harley Davidson, very similar to what you would find on the CVO Road Glides when they had these type of mirrors on them. So I really like those, a good look. These are sort of in a satin black color, not a vivid black, but I like the offset of the black with the chrome that I have on this bike. So now let's move down to some of the, I would call them kind of performance upgrades. So the first thing I did on this bike, I did a stage 1, which is your tuner and your exhaust system. When I initially did that, I had the stock head pipe on here. I put Reinhardt DBX 45s on the back. And the bike ran great, and I had a tune, so I did a stage 1 tune with that, again with the Screaming Eagle tuner. I have full video on how to use the Screaming Eagle tuner, both the Bluetooth version as well as the older version that I use on this bike, so you can go check those out. And then subsequently, probably about a year or so after I did that stage 1 upgrade, then I did a full stage 2 upgrade on this bike, and that, wow, really woke it up. I've never done any stage 2 upgrades, but I put in the bolt-in SE8 447 cam in this from Harley Davidson Screaming Eagle, and the oil pump, the heavy-duty oil pump, as well as the cam plate they put in there as well, since they were already in there. And I did a full video on breaking out sort of all the costs on that, so you can go check that out as well. But from my perspective, well worth it. I know some people will say, why didn't you use an aftermarket cam on this? But for me, this 447 torque cam from Harley Davidson works really well on this M8 motor. And I've been super impressed and really pleased with the outcome with that. So then subsequent to that, and I did a full video on that, I went from the ventilator style air cleaner that was on the bike originally to this wedge cleaner by Screaming Eagle. So obviously a lot more surface area, get a lot more air into the bike. This will actually get more air into that bike, give you more power. Again, I can't tell you because I don't have dyno sheets, and to me, I really just don't care about dyno sheets, but the bike runs fantastic, and this gets a lot more air into that, and I've been really pleased with that. And again, full install video on how to change that out from ventilator to this wedge extreme. Now, we talked about the stage 1. I used to have the stock head pipe on here, but I changed out the head pipe to the Tab Performance 212 head pipe. And I also put BAM sticks with the zombie baffles on this bike prior to that with the stock head pipe. But once I've changed out to these, the 212 head pipe, no catalytic converter, you don't get all of that heat, but my gosh, the bike runs great, sounds great, and actually you can go back to my video that I did comparing the Reinhardt DBX 45 to the Tab Performance BAM 6 with the zombie baffles, and I also did a follow-up video to that where I compared the medium baffles, the zombie baffles, and the Reinhardt DBX 45. And I also did a full install video on putting that 212 head pipe in here so that you can do that yourself and save yourselves probably 3 hours or 4 hours of shop labor. It's not that hard. You just need to take your time and again, follow that free HDVIBE video. And again, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, I'd really appreciate if you hit that button right down here. And when you do subscribe for the first time, leave a comment down below saying I subscribe so I can personally reach out and thank you for supporting the channel. Okay guys, so As promised, we've come to the end of the video, and I want to share with you something that I'm super excited about. So we talked about the tab performance, and the videos that I've done on that have done really well. I mean, in excess of 70,000 views. So if you haven't gone back and saw those, I'd suggest you go check those out, because the comparison, I think, came out really well. You can really get a feel for the different baffles. You can get a comparison between a Reinhardt and a tab. I ordered the Redline series exhaust system for this Road Glide, and it's right here. And I got the 2-in-1 because, again, I'm going with this performance style on this Road Glide. So in the coming weeks, I'm going to show you a full install video on how I take off this 212 pipe that's currently on the bike, and we go to the Tab Performance Redline series. If you haven't heard about the Redline series, this header and exhaust system, it's one system. You get the slip-on as well as the header in one. You can't order them separate right now. It has one baffle in it, but essentially what Tab Performance has done is you get good performance out of the Zombie, but Zombie was sort of sound first and then performance. This one is performance first and then sound. So I'm really excited and looking forward to sharing this install and sound clips comparing the Zombies to this, to also the Reinhardt DBX45. So you guys can see the difference here. See how to install that before you go and spend your hard-earned money like I did. So again, all free here on the HDVIBE channel. So guys, with that, go check out this playlist that shows all the installs I've done on the bikes. Check out this video, and also make sure to go right up here and subscribe to the channel.